We used to think originality was real, like a fingerprint, proof of human presence in the world. But what happens when technology can replicate that signature so perfectly? We forget there ever was a hand. The Renaissance, for all its genius, was already swimming in forgeries. Today, algorithms generate sonnets, portraits, even convincing lies with none of the sweating and sleepless nights once required. This is not just about fake art, it's about trust and how we confuse performance with proof. Roland Barthes saw the strange power of photographs long before deepfakes. He called it that. Has been a moment suspended in time, evidence that something happened. But now algorithms produce images that look like they came from real places and people who never existed. The aura he described is no longer unique to original objects. It's mass produced by code. We still believe the illusion of authenticity because we're wired to trust what looks like memory, even when it's just a convincing simulation. The real trick here isn't just making fakes better than originals. It's convincing ourselves we can still spot the difference. We crave authenticity like a religion in a world where all evidence is digital and therefore suspect. But if everything looks real, then nothing is real. The algorithm becomes our new authority, not because it's true, but because it looks human. And when we mistake machine performance for genuine presence, we surrender the last line of defense between us and total simulation.
The earliest computers were not machines, but ideas, mechanical ingenuity, meeting mathematical rigor in Babbage's engines, and
MIDI humanization plugins emerged in the late 80s, promising to turn sterile digital beats into something that felt alive. Engineers would add random timing offsets and velocity variations, mistakes made perfect, to simulate what we think of as human imperfection. But this wasn't imitation. It was instruction. Machines now had a script for sincerity. What was missing wasn't feeling. It was the performer. The illusion didn't mask the absence of emotion, it masked the absence of people. In the 1980s, Commodore Amigas and Yamaha DX100 synthesizers weren't just computers. They were supposed to be conduits for human creativity. But in practice, they did something more sinister, codified what emotion should sound like. The result wasn't a better approximation of the human voice, but an algorithmic standardization of it. This early attempt at faking sincerity became the blueprint for deepfakes, chatbots with mood tracking, and even AI influencers who cry in response to Algorithms don't just mimic humans, they replace them. By perfecting the illusion of spontaneity, they render actual human input redundant. You no longer need a musician to sound expressive. You can have an algorithm that knows exactly how to fake it better than most people ever could. In doing so, we've shifted from valuing authenticity to mastering its simulations. And with every new AI voice clone and deepfake video, we're not just losing the original, we're redefining what trust means in the first place.
We have a new human being, and that's Chris Potter of Mimetics Corporation, a new synthesizer, the Yamaha DX100, and a new computer, the Commodore Amiga.
Roland Barthes described the punctum as that small wound in a photograph, something jarring, almost accidental. It wasn't just about realism, it was about rupture, a detail that made you feel seen. But now, algorithms don't wait for chance. They generate their own puncta, on demand, a smudge here, a typo there. What once broke the illusion now sustains it. The past is the last honest place before everything became calculated. Instagram filters that mimic film grain are not about nostalgia, they're about trust. For just this week, headlines report that even AI companies are struggling to replace human workers in India. Not because the machines can't code, but because they lack something else. Something subtle, presence, intention, the slight misstep that says, I am here. The algorithm's punctum is no longer an accident. It's a feature. It's what passes for soul now. Consider how AI-generated art often includes deliberate brushstrokes or visible glitch lines. Not to challenge, but to reassure us that it's part of the code. It's calculated to appear raw. This reversal isn't just about aesthetics. It's about trust itself. If we can't tell what's real, we start to trust the illusion more than reality. Barthes thought the punctum unsettled us into seeing deeper truths. Now it lulls us into believing the lie is alive. We don't notice, because everything looks like an artifact of authenticity.
So it really doesn't depersonalize music, I think, but rather maybe humanizes computers, I guess I would.
Originals used to be rare things, born from struggle, doubt, and a singular voice that no algorithm could predict or replicate. But in an era where tools can generate unique outputs, faster than human hands can blink, the line between original and copy begins to dissolve into something unrecognizable. What we once called authentic is now just another variable in a system optimized for belief, not births. The machine doesn't just mimic creativity, it redefines what counts as creative at all. What we are left with is not a loss, but a shift. Authenticity moves from lived experience to algorithmic performance. A trust no longer rooted in the human past, but in the machine's future. This new authenticity doesn't ask us if something is real. It only asks if it can be convincing enough for long enough. And here's where it gets stranger. These simulations don't just pass as originals. They start to feel more honest than most of what we call truth today.